So today we are going to be talking to all of you about what you might currently know as the iPads for Kids program. We're going to be talking about some really amazing updates to the program, as well as an official announcement that you're all hearing first, that we are now rebranded and recalling ourselves the Little Lights program. So you'll hear us talking about Little Lights throughout the presentation today. So switch your minds from iPads for Kids to Little Lights, and we'll be talking on the same page. I'd love to introduce my team before we get started. My name is Christine Edwards. I'm the Senior Foundation Manager over here at the Bungie Foundation, and I'll pass it off to my team to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Austin. I'm the Senior Program Manager for the Little Lights program now.
Jarrod is muted.
I was muted. Tech fail. I'm Jarrod. I'm the Bungie Foundation producer.
And I'm Sountary. Hello, everyone. I'm the Bungie Foundation Program Coordinator.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. So the goal for today is really to update all of you gaming technology specialists about this transition from iPads for Kids to Little Lights, how the program can help you in your role if you don't already participate in the program, and if you don't already participate, how you can do so. So as a quick agenda, for those of you who might not have attended the symposium last year, we'll just give you a quick overview of who the Bungie Foundation is, what the Little Lights program is. Then we'll dive deep into a demo to show you all the amazing changes that are coming to the Little Lights program. And then again, for those of you who are not currently part of the program, we just want to give you a few tips and tricks in terms of what the program requires from a hospital perspective, and then open it up for Q&A so you can ask us all the questions that might come up throughout our presentation. So let's dive in. The Bungie Foundation really is the charitable giving arm of the video game developer Bungie. We're located here in the greater Seattle region. For those of you who know the area, we're in Bellevue, Washington specifically. Some of you might know Bungie as the creators and former developers of Halo, as well as the creators and developers of Destiny. As a company, it really is our desire and responsibility to give back to our community in meaningful ways. So we started the Bungie Foundation in 2010 as a way to formally express our company's values externally and make that positive impact on our community. We have three core areas of focus. The first is around children's health and well-being, which is what we'll primarily focus on today with the Little Lights program. We also provide funding and resources to humanitarian aid organizations leading up to and following natural and economic crises. So right now you can think about work following Hurricane Fiona or the earthquake in Mexico, things like that.
Hey, Christine, sorry to interrupt. I just want to say our presentation isn't showing to the group.
Well, thanks. Let's do one more thing. Sorry here. Let me know. Does that change?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
All right. Technology. That's why we're all here. We're good at this. All right. So picking back up here. So the last pillar that we have is focused around diversity, equity, and inclusion. We largely focus our charitable efforts around areas of STEAM, but we really do think about diversity, equity, and inclusion as being something that translates across all of the work that we do as an organization. So here at Bungie, we really are driven by a desire to see the world in which every person can attain their human rights to health, happiness, and equitable treatment. So we came up with the mission statement here to do just that. We're a people-focused organization that builds and empowers our community to improve the health and well-being of children, uplift the rights of all individuals and communities, and provide aid in times of crisis. And when it comes to the Little Lights program specifically, our impetus is to build this program. We started this program back in 2010 with our former CEO, Harold Ryan. He, back in 2010, was in a really terrible accident that actually caused severe damage to one of his legs. And throughout a number of procedures and surgeries, it actually unearthed this dormant genetic nerve disorder that caused so much pain that he couldn't walk for over a year. He was considering amputating his leg. So he was working with a number of pain management specialists around the country to help find a solution for this nerve genetic disorder that he had. And included in one of those folks that he was talking to was the pain management specialist, or the head of pain management at Seattle Children's Hospital. So in his discussions with this head of pain management, he learned that there were actually children who experienced the same nerve disorder that were in just as much pain as he was, that rendered him sort of an adult man, incapable of walking. And at the time, he had a 7-year-old son, and he just couldn't fathom the idea that someone so young could be in so much pain. So he knew that we had to do something about that. We knew that we had to do something to bring distraction, joy, and comfort to patients. And the Little Lights program was born out of that. So from our humble beginnings back at Seattle Children's Hospital back in 2010, Child's Play has been instrumental in our growth. So we want to give them a quick shout out today. They really are one of our longest standing partners. And they've supported the Little Lights program since 2016. Their support has really been instrumental in our program's expansion to more hospitals throughout the country in the years that followed. But as you know, they do so much more than just funding alone. I'm sure all of you know how much they collaborate and work with you to make sure that your jobs are successful and the programs that you run are successful. They do the same thing for us. They're wonderful collaborative partners that really help us build a broader vision for what is possible with entertainment and distraction technology in children's hospitals. And they work with us to find ideal hospital candidates for the Little Lights program, with gaming technology specialists really having become a key raiser in that process. So thank you to Child's Play Charity, for everyone who's on the call, for granting, first of all, roughly about $3.6 million to the Little Lights program to date. We really couldn't do it without you. And now I'll hand it off to Jarrod.
Thanks, Christine. So let's get into the Little Lights program a bit. What is the mission of the Little Lights program? It's simply to uplift the emotional and social well-being of pediatric patients by providing them with fully customizable, age-appropriate content that allows for distraction, therapeutic play, and a sense of normalcy that's really vital to creating a positive hospital experience, really in an otherwise stressful and pretty scary situation. And the goals of the Little Light program: to reach all patients across the spectrum of care, from a routine appointment to those experiencing a long or invasive procedure, and to systematically expand the program to children's hospitals across the globe in order to reach the greatest number of children in need. Now, what is the Little Lights program? Well, really, it's providing a digital experience for pediatric patients that will support their emotional and social needs, while also leaving them with a positive, lifelong impression that the Bungie Foundation and their hospital staff cared for them tremendously in their time of need. Now, what are we passionate about? Simply, childhood should be filled with joy, laughter, and social interaction with family and friends. Unfortunately, illness and injury can really turn a kid's world upside down, and that can lead to fear, anxiety, boredom, and depression while they learn to cope. But we believe that it's with the right digital patient experience, kids can get a much closer to normalcy that they deserve. And we want to bring this experience to as many hospitalized children as possible. But why the Bungie Foundation? We really believe that the services on the market right now don't meet the holistic needs of pediatric patients and are really expensive for, to be honest, inferior products that often lock hospitals into vendor-defined static content with that product. Our app allows the hospitals to customize their entertainment, clinical, and communication content, all while providing pediatric patients with an interactive, friendly companion from the moment they walk in the door. And how are our patients changed as a result of this? Well, When a pediatric patient comes to a hospital that has incorporated little lights, they'll be taken on a journey that supports their emotional needs every step of the way. Now, while we can't eliminate all fear and pain, anxiety, and uncertainty, it can be substantially reduced by increasing their joy, distraction, normalcy, and understanding. Patients are going to leave the hospital feeling that they weren't alone, like they had a constant companion to help them with what they needed in each moment along the way. Now, for those of you that were familiar with the iPads for Kids model, and now we're moving into the Little Lights model, let's talk about what's changing, really. In the former model, Bungie would own all devices and apps that would be in your hospital. And our staff, our little staff of 4, would remotely manage that program for each hospital. That was a lot of work for us as we scale. Then the new model, Bungie is providing a one-time comprehensive grant to each hospital, and then subsequent annual supplemental grants. Hospitals then will own all of the devices and all of the content and manage the programs themselves in-house. Every device that you get as a part of this program will include the Little Lights app, and there will never ever be a fee for our app. Our team at Bungie, though, we're still here for you. We'll be providing ongoing support and consultation and training throughout the life of the program. You'll always have a partner, as we're not going anywhere. But what's staying the same for the program? We're getting devices and iPads in every unit, in every room, as well as for all appropriate patient experience staff. We're getting age-appropriate content for all the patients, and remote management and security for the entire program managed through our MDM partner, Jeff. And now over to Austin, who's going to give you a peek inside our Little Lights app.
Thanks, Jarrod. Before we jump into some of the specific details, let's take a quick look at our app's new tutorial to see some of our new features in action. We might have some technical difficulties with the sound or maybe playback, so don't worry if we have issues. We'll post the link for the video directly in the chat after our presentation. Great. Can we get the next slide, please? Thank you. If any of you are familiar with our old iPads for Kids app, you'll notice right away we've spruced things up a little bit. Lost a lot of bit of that copy and some drop-down menus. Let's take a look at some of the setup processes that we've also added. Next slide, please. Upon first opening the Little Lights app, patients will be asked to identify some specific information about their patient journey. Those specific selections help ensure the most developmentally appropriate content packages are delivered to each patient. First, we're now able to identify the specific hospital or potentially even off-site clinic a patient may be using the device in. Next, you'll notice that our standard 3 age group, preschool, school age, and teen, has stayed. These options are only the starting point for our new app and the foundation for what we hope to be a more flexible and robust future. Lastly, we've now added the capability for patients to identify whether they're specifically in the inpatient unit or an outpatient unit. Again, all of these features help make those content packages after setup the most appropriate and most specific to that patient's journey within the hospital. Next slide, please. Once the initial setup has been completed, the app's new home screen will display. This is the home screen the patients will see if they click out and back into the application during their stay. Our home screen has 3 basic sections. The whiteboard, which we use as our message board, can display medical trivia, survey questions, or specific notifications sent by the hospital's Little Lights admin portal. We also use the notification to display categories of apps, a feature that ties heavily into the second section of the home screen, the entertainment console. As demonstrated in the tutorial, when an icon, such as the controller, is clicked, the whiteboard displays all of the third-party apps categorized as games currently available on that device. Next slide, please. The third section of our home screen is the menu. Here, patients are able to access things such as our privacy policy, send feedback about the Little Lights program, or even place a support ticket alerting such things as a broken screen or a missing charge cord. These support forms are sent directly to the Little Lights sub-admin portal. You may have heard me mention this portal a little earlier. We're still building this portal out, but it will allow hospital-specific admins, such as yourselves, the ability to define app categorization, send specific notifications such as special visitor in playroom at noon, and see support tickets that may require some hands-on assistance. Another feature listed in the menu, which is customizable through the admin portal, is the ability to edit the hospital's About section. Admins are able to add text, links, and social icons to any pertinent hospital information. Next slide, please. The last new feature, which we're really excited about and would like to highlight, is our reward system. As patients interact with our app and the device, we want to reward them for that exploration. Answering survey questions, or checking that special visitor notification all rewards the patient with a sticker credit. Those stickers can be used to select stickers to customize their home screen. We're starting with a standard and Destiny pack, but our hope is that we can provide opportunities for hospitals to make their own custom stickers, or even partners like Child Display, wink wink. And with that, I'll hand things over to Sountary.
All right. Thank you, Austin. So diving into the program and grant requirements, our program requires the hospital to implement JAMP as the mobile device management software. We also want to make sure there is a stable and secure Wi-Fi where there isn't a splash page that times you out while the patient is using the iPad. All clinical stakeholders, child life, nurses, HUCs in each unit need to make sure they are working together to understand the importance of the program, to make the deployment successful and for a successful outcome, as well as preventing missing iPads, because iPads do go missing often. Technical stakeholders are responsible for managing and helping implement the program within JAMP. We also provide a 200% contingency to purchase the charge cords and wall adapters, as we know they go missing quite often. Once the 200% contingency stock is depleted, the hospital will need to purchase replacement iPads and accessories moving forward. Last, we ask that our partners support us in our PR and media efforts that help raise funds for the Little Light program. This includes quotes, stories, as well as photos and videos whenever possible. Included in our grant funding, we have the iPads, the iPad case, iPad accessories, which includes the charge cords and wall adapters, the apps, the JAMP MDM implementation cost, as well as the first year of JAMP licenses, specialized hardware, central storage, and in-room mounting, and all items include contingency. Next slide. So where do gaming technology specialists come in? And so we'll see that there are two basic roles or players, as you may see, that you may fit into. A lot of your role may come down to your hospital's level of buy-in to the program. We tend to see smaller hospitals utilizing game techs as the support engineer, doing the day-to-day management and troubleshooting of minor issues. This is also the case for some larger hospitals that are starting the program in a smaller pilot phase. The reason for this is that it allows small or overburdened IT departments the ability to say, we approve it, but you manage it. On the flip side, we also see some organizations that have very strict and streamlined processes for mobile device management. In those instances, the IT team, overburdened or not, wants and needs full control of the program from a day-to-day operational standpoint. In those situations, we tend to find the streamlined processes are great from an operational standpoint, but really need that squeaky wheel on the ground to advocate for what patients need and want. All right. We are really proud of the Little Lights program, but we don't just want you to hear it from us. Here are a couple testimonials from our other hospitals who have benefited from our program. And I'll give you a couple minutes for everyone to read the testimonials. All right. And last but not least, we're looking forward to hearing from you. If you're interested in partnering with us and learning more about the Little Lights program, send us a note. You can contact us to request a partnership through our website. Our website is changing and will be updated in the coming months, but you can still read about us on what we currently have on the website. Or you can email littlelights@bungie.com with the following information: your name, email address, and your role at the hospital, your hospital name, number of licensed pediatric bed count, and number of iPads needed for your pediatric population immediately and for future growth. All right, and that wraps up our presentation. We are opening up the floor to answer any questions you have.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so I am gonna kind of ask the question over to the moderators. We can either throw questions in the chat, or if there's like a hand raise option for people to shout out their questions in person, let us know. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's give you guys, this is Chris here in Colorado. Let's give you guys just a couple of minutes to see if questions, comments, topics roll in the chat for a minute, because we got some time. And then looks like some are coming in. So if you'd like, I could ask those, or you could just sort of peruse the chat and pick them up yourself.
Awesome.
One question we saw a few people ask already was regarding like the rollout of the app and any onboarding efforts ongoing right now. No, please continue with any onboarding that you are going through now. Ideally, this will be a seamless transition once we do introduce and release the app itself. There shouldn't be much changing aside from maybe a small learning curve of operating the app in the back end, but the program itself will operate exactly the same way. So please continue with your efforts, and when we do release the app, there'll be a full communication and training plan, and it'll be a seamless transition for you.
Thanks, Jarrod. I'll try to find all the questions in the chat if I can, but please call them out if I'm missing one. I see Joe Elbeats on here. Hey, Joe, asking, can we anticipate a Little Lights ghost shell? Well, funny you should mention it, Joe. Some fun things coming up around the end of the year. For those of you who might not know, we do an annual fundraiser called Game to Give, usually in the November-December timeframe. This year it's kicking off on December 7th. And there's some fun in-game items that will be available as incentives for donors and fundraisers that might just be Little Lights themed. So check it out. We'll have more information on our social channels and in our Bungie blog posts, things like that. But expect around that time to maybe be delighted and surprised. Let's see.
There's a good question about implementing different languages. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, totally. So with the existing app that we have, and if you are already in the program, you sort of know what our Get Started app is. That app itself, so if you started with us today, as we're in the process of rolling out this new Little Lights app, that app is currently localized in every language that the iPad itself is localized in. Obviously it's a much more simple application, so it's pretty easy and quick for us to update into all those languages. With the new Little Lights app that we just demoed today, yes, we'll be phasing out localized languages over a course of phased implementations. To start, we're looking at obviously English, Latin American Spanish, German, most likely. We see Oliver over here. Germany for our friends over at SN Hospital, Germany, and then one or two other languages that we'd like to roll out with. So if you have suggestions or high populations in a certain language, please just send us a note and let us know so that we can prioritize those languages accordingly. But over time, we do anticipate getting to a place where all of the languages available on the iPad are also available in our app.
Yeah, and I see Suzanne asked the question about it seems like their hospital already has iPads in every room, so she's asking if she can purchase the application. So our app is actually free. Again, the key to the program is really that Jamf kind of back-end hidden stuff that you didn't see on this. So maybe is the right answer. It would depend on kind of how your hospital manages those devices. We're happy to schedule a call kind of outside of this and kind of talk through that and maybe see if it's something that we can provide and help your hospital set up for those devices you already have.
I see another question about, is it possible to receive some Destiny keys for patients on various platforms? Totally. Yes. Again, we can provide keys on PlayStation, Xbox, and on Steam. Soon, Jarrod, Epic Game Store.
Already Epic.
PC? Cool. Okay, so PC platforms in general, as well as Xbox and PlayStation. So if you have an interest in that, please send us an email also at littlelights@bungie.com, letting us know what your needs are for your hospital, and we can work on getting those codes for you.
Looks like Tracy's asking about a specific app, Google Classroom, and whether or not that will work with our app. Yes, so any third-party app that's available essentially in the App Store, as long as that is an application that is approved by your organization, for sure, that's definitely works in tandem with our application. Think of our application more as kind of the content manager, helping guide patients to things like Google Classroom, for your example. So yes, we don't lock patients into just our application.
And then we have another question here from Melissa. Is there a way to get certain iPads so that children don't have access to internet, media, photos? Also for eating disorder patients, is it possible to get rid of food games? Totally. I'll hand that off to Austin to respond.
Yes. So all of those kind of concerns essentially is what I'm going to bucket all of that into, and kind of configurations and lockdowns to make the device function a very specific way. The answer is yes. And not only yes, but like yes for however you want to do it on an iPad to iPad basis, or more specifically, likely a unit to unit basis. So if you have a specific eating disorder unit or rooms specifically that you have those devices in, just those iPads could have those eating disorder games taken off of them, whereas the rest of the iPads that your hospital uses may have those. Same thing with the media, with the photos, internet access. That's all kind of done through the back end, and we make sure that we kind of help your hospital understand, like, what does it look like to set up those configurations for success.
Thanks, Austin. From Alexis, hey Alexis, when will the new UX launch? Great question. So we are in the beginning of our testing phase right now, planning on going through some testing QA work through the rest of this month and into October. We're hoping to have a pilot version available by mid to late October, if not November at the latest. And we're soon going to be reaching out to a couple of you partner hospitals on this chat about discussing what a pilot might look like for you, talking through opportunities to maybe pilot in a specific unit to replace the existing app that you know about today with this app. and kind of talk through next steps for back-end administrative use and things like that. So we'll be reaching out now that you've all seen it and know a little bit more about what it's going to look like. Expect a few of you, Alexis included, to get some emails from us in the coming weeks to discuss what that could look like for your hospital. Connor volunteers as tribute. Yes, perfect. That's what we want to hear.
Scott asked, do we have sample profiles for Jamf? Are you, just to clarify that question, are you asking for specific configurations that we may use, or like a sample like test trial? Pop it in chat. Sample configurations. Yes, we do have some generalized ones that we use, but it actually is so specific from hospital to hospital. I feel uncomfortable saying that we have a general one. It's really an ongoing conversation that we have with each hospital on what they feel comfortable with. We have hospitals that have a variety of differences in what they approve and don't approve.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. Okay, I think we hit all the questions. I think we have a few minutes left. So if there are any more questions, don't be shy. Oh, Shane just in time says, do you have feedback or testimonials from nursing or higher ups? Anything change or potential added responsibilities is becoming harder and harder for buy-in, particularly with staffing issues over the last year. Totally. Austin, do you have some immediate feedback on that?
Yeah. Yes, completely. I come from a child life background, so I understand that frontline, and asking people to do things is not easy, especially frontline staff who are often burdened. So it does upfront sound like something that you will likely get pushback, to be honest, because we're asking people to add another thing to their plate. But honestly, all feedback that we get after that has been implemented is that it is actually a patient experience changer. And it is something that those frontline staff, while yes, it is an added task, they may have to check on a device or etc., become something that's not that burdensome over time and has a greater impact. Additionally, with kind of those higher ups and specific departments, such as maybe nursing, that don't want to add checking on an iPad in the middle of their clinical care, things like telehealth, other clinical types of applications. We want those things to be added to our devices. And so a lot of times it's about talking to those departments and seeing what are things that maybe you guys were hoping to implement, but let's be honest, implementing iPads into a healthcare environment is not easy. So oftentimes just get parking lot or pushed off to the side. And usually there's things that all those kind of departments or higher ups want to do, that they're like, oh, we can use these iPads, we don't have to pay for them, and we can meet some of our goals. And that's really a talking point that we like to start when we're kind of running into those types of roadblocks.